everyone. Today I'm doing some planting up in my front flower garden, and I wanted to show you guys some of the plants that I found. I think they're really beautiful and I just wanted to share them with you. I've actually had these plants for a couple of weeks now, and they should have gone in the ground. They would have been much happier if they were in the ground by now. So some of them are looking a little not so great, and I want to flash a picture of what they'll look like when they're happy and healthy and growing. And so I'll do that whenever I show you each individual plant. I'll show you what the potential of that plant will be whenever it gets established. So I only have two plants that I'm planting today, two different types. The first one is this guy right here. I'll show you this flower. He's semi-happy as opposed to the other one. But this is a Daisy May daisy. Now in this area, I had some daisies before, and maybe you guys have experience with the daisies that get extremely tall. I don't know what their name is, but they were mine were probably 3-4 feet tall. They were massive, and they would constantly fall over because they were so tall. I like my plants to be upright and pretty so you can see the blooms and you can enjoy them and they're not just all falling over. So I was looking for a daisy that would not fall over, that would stay a little smaller, and I found these. So there you can see a little picture. I'll blow up the screen as I read the stats of the other picture. So the stats on these is that this plant grows 12 to 24 inches tall, and it grows 10 to 14 inches wide. It's hardy down to zone 5 and up to zone 9. It blooms early summer through late summer. It is a full sun loving plant, so the more sun, the better. Now this daisy plant, as you can see in the picture, is amazing. Proven winners really outdid themselves with this one. As opposed to regular daisies that kind of are just, they're not as compact, they're not as tight with blooms. This one, it's like you can barely see the plant. There's so many flowers over top of it. It's just gorgeous, and that's exactly what I wanted for this space. I wanted something a little shorter that could go beneath my my echinacea that I have and my other flowers. So I wanted like a stair step down, but I love that white daisy look. So I was looking for something like that, and this one is perfect for that. So if you're looking for something along the same lines, I would highly recommend this plant. Okay, this last one is this. Now I will pop up another picture of this on the screen so you guys can see him a little better, but this guy's not looking too bad. He's got beautiful blooms all over him, and as you guys can kind of see in this picture right now, the blooms are all different shades of pinks and whites and creams, and it's just gorgeous. So this is a yarrow, and let me lift it up so you guys can see the foliage on a yarrow. It's kind of ferny-ish. I don't know, it almost reminds me of like a dill or something, like a really compact dill looking plant. So the leaves on this are really interesting, and then of course the tall, beautiful variegation in the blooms. So this is a yarrow, like I said, and it blooms through the summer. This in particular one is called Summer Berries. It likes full sun. It gets 28 inches tall and 20 inches wide. It's hardy down to zone 3 and up to zone 9. Very winter hardy. And like I said, it blooms throughout the summer. This plant is gorgeous, and what I've noticed with this is that the blooms hang on and look great forever. So like the Daisy May daisies here, what happens with these is you can come out and deadhead these, and I'm going to deadhead them today just to give them a fresh start. But what happens with this kind of plant is it'll grow a little bit, it'll set its first set of blooms, and then it'll grow a little bit more and flesh out a new set of blooms. So it kind of like hides the dead looking ones as it blooms, which is really interesting. I think you don't have to deadhead this plant. You're not going to see them like you would a regular daisy or some other flowers. Now this one it really holds its flowers really well, and they look great. Like, I've had this plant sitting in a pot for 2 weeks here at my house through 90-degree weather. It's been sitting at the garden center for who knows how long, and the blooms have just stayed and stayed, and it's even setting new blooms. It's just, I really like this plant. It's really beautiful, and I'm really impressed with the blooms on it. So let me get these set up. I'm gonna get them spaced throughout the garden, and I'll show you where they're gonna go. Okay, so here is the front flower bed that I was talking about that we're gonna be planting these flowers in. And as you can see, I have a good bit of echinacea, those pink flowers, and I have some yellow coreopteris, I have some sedum in here, and then I have a few annuals spread in as well. And then also along the edge of this bed, I have a ring of lavender. Okay, so I'm just kind of dotting these daisies around in individual places throughout this garden bed where I kind of have holes, and also where I think that it'll be really nice to have like a stair step down from this tall echinacea to the white. Just imagine it nice and full and white right there underneath the echinacea. And then again here, right in between everything. Then I have one placed here. Now again, this is an annual, so this one will be leaving at some point, but this nice white bright pop right here. And then I have one back on this side right here beneath the sedum and the coleopteris on this side. And then over here I have the yarrow, so one there and one there. Down here there is a big daisy, one of the old style daisies that I was talking about earlier, and I'm going to be digging that one out today and planting those two yarrow right there. Now the yarrow gets kind of tall, I believe I said 30 inches or so, so he's going to get really nice and tall, so I'm going to leave some space in the front here for some lower things that I can plant to fill in that space. Okay, so now that I showed you where they're going, let me just show you some of the tools that I'm going to be using today. So the first thing I'm going to use is my pruners. I'm going to go through and cut off all the deadhead spent flowers off of the daisies, and I want to do that first of all to clean up the plant, and secondly I want this plant to kind of get rejuvenated and really start to focus on root growth and getting established in this bed, and I don't want it to be putting any energy into flowers that look terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of the ones that look kind of yucky off, and then I'll get them planted. Secondly, I have my bag of plant tone. Now I use plant tone because this is what I have on hand like all the time. You can also use biotone. Biotone is more specifically specialized for root growth. And so if you have biotone or you can find it easily, biotone is a great starter fertilizer. Today I'm just going to use some plant tone because, like I said, this is what I have on hand, and this is still a great fertilizer. This will still give your plants a real boost to getting established and helping them look healthy and happy. And the last thing I have is my shovel, so let's get planting. Okay, so now I'm just going to give you guys a quick tour. Here is the yarrow that we planted, and I wanted to mention too, I forgot to earlier, that the yarrow is a really great pollinator attractor, great for butterflies, things like that. So if you like those things in your garden, yarrow is great for that. There's one of the daisies. There's a second one hiding. I kind of wanted him tucked in right in this little hole, just to fill it in real nice there. There's the third one and the fourth one. Okay, so I wanted to come back over here and sit in the shade because it is hot today. I think it's like 85 right now. It's supposed to be up to 91 today. It's going to be another really warm day. And I wanted to address that and discuss that really quick. So it is normally your best idea to do the planting in spring and fall. The reason that you want to plant your flowers and things like that in spring and fall is because the temperatures are really mild and the plants don't have to deal with the stress of like really hot days or freezing nights or anything like that. The plant can just grow and get established, and it doesn't have to really deal with any adversities. And so that's why it's like your best bet to plant in the spring or in the fall, early fall. Now if you're planting in the fall, just beware, you do want to plant 6 weeks before your first frost date. Plants do not do very well planting them and then they get frosted and frozen, and they don't do well with that. So you want to give your plants at least 6 weeks to get established and get some good root system going before your first frost. And if you don't know when your first frost is, it's really easy to just Google your zip code and then put in first average frost date, and that'll give you an idea of whether it's safe to plant them or not. Now, that is a general rule of thumb. I tend to think that if I have a plant and it is in its little nursery can, that it is going to do way better insulated in the soil than it would in its little nursery can. Okay, so if you bought a bunch of plants, maybe they were on sale, end of the year fall sale or something, and you just can't help yourself and you buy a whole bunch of them and it's kind of cutting it close and you're a little worried about it, they will be safer if you put them in the ground than they will be in their little nursery can. So if in doubt, plant it and just baby it, watch it. You can put like some frost guard, like that really thin white mesh netting stuff over top, or you can put like some bed sheets or something like that if you're worried about it. In the summertime though, like right now, what I am dealing with is I want to make sure that these plants get a lot of water. Now, obviously you don't want to drown them, but I want to make sure that these plants get a lot of water, maybe twice a day, on these really hot days in the 90s, in the morning and in the evening. I just want to make sure that they are not drying out. I want to give them the best chance possible to establish the roots and be happy. Because in these hot days, I don't want them like really struggling for water. I want to make sure that that is readily available for them. I put the fertilizer in there so I know they have good food as well. So you just want to give your plants like the best chance possible to make it through those adverse times. So I always end up buying plants here in the middle of summer because I find that a lot of garden centers and things like that, the big box stores, they put the plants on sale, on a big sale. And a lot of times the perennials and things like that, they don't look so great at the store or at the nursery. They're starting to get a little sad. And the reason for that is because they've just been in their nursery can for too long. If you get a perennial, a lot of times you can get them buy one, get one free. You can get them 10, 20, 30% off. So just keep your eye out for that. But if you find a perennial that is on sale, now perennials only, do not do this with annuals. You will not get your money out of them. They were gonna die this year anyway. Don't mess around with annuals at this point in the year. But if you find perennials that are on sale, go ahead and get them. If you stick them in the ground, you give them lots of TLC, give them lots of water and some fertilizer, they're gonna rebound and they're going to do great for you. The first year they might not be amazing. They might just kind of sit there, or they might even wilt and look a little terrible, but that's okay, because just keep watering them, just keep taking care of them. Next year, 9 out of 10 times, I don't even know, better chance than that, they're gonna come back, and they're gonna come back beautiful and just perfectly fine. So if you can get some plants during this time, it's a great time to get them, and go ahead and plant them. Just keep in mind, they need lots of water. Don't forget about them. Don't neglect them. Give them the water they need in these hot middle summer days, and they'll do just fine. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.